Hello, and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. So yesterday, I spoke a bit about my thoughts on game balance, how important game balance was, especially when it came or comes between balancing the character classes and expectations, and my thoughts that the balance really is making sure there's a role for everybody and that everybody has an importance, and the puzzle is not complete unless every character class, at least every character class that you want as a DM involved has use. Everybody in the party has something where they can shine at some point. Well, apparently it was a well listened to episode, but we got two voicemails on it, and I should clarify that it's two voicemails, each of which are in two parts, which means that there was enough here that people couldn't confine their thoughts to a minute or less. And that's actually pretty interesting. So first, we're going to listen to Joe the lawyer. Joe, take it away.
Eric, hey, Joe the lawyer here, man. What's up? Driving home listening to your podcast, and I kind of agree. I got to say, I never thought about it that way before, but it does make sense. Adventures are probably the best place to have giving everybody a chance to shine. Now, here's where 5e fucks that up. So my one big gripe about 5e, the thing I don't like about it stylistically, is that I think they're catering to a bunch of whiners in the sense that people didn't want to shine throughout the course of the adventure. At the end of it, that they could look back and say, I did my part. People want to shine every single round of every single combat. And so you're giving magic users and clerics damage-dealing cantrips they could always pop out of their ass all the fucking time, over and over and over again. I like low magic games. I like magic to be mysterious. I like there to be few magic items, few magic users, and magic is a rare thing during combat. I think that's where 5e blows it. I want magic to be the big boom that surprises everybody and people worry about. Not something that happens all the time. Later. Hey Eric, Joe the lawyer here. Just wanted to touch base. Follow up from the thing I left you yesterday. I was driving home from work, now I'm driving to work. Some more thoughts on it. I think it comes from expectations and experiences. Their expectation is to do damage every single round within their class. Like, I'm a caster, therefore I should be able to throw fire every round, or acid or ice or whatever, you know what I mean? Or heal, or do something every single round that's related directly to their class. I think that comes from what they came up on. The new generation came up on video games, and they're used to seeing their guy, if they're a caster type, throwing magic every single round. Whereas most of the old school guys, we came up on books, and then the book's magic was more mysterious and powerful, and oh my god, and what the hell's going to happen if he casts that spell? It was a rare and dangerous and wonderful, scary thing. You know, so that's why I think there's a different level of expectations. Later.
Yeah, that might be some of the issue here, is that I'm a gamer that grew up on tabletop D&D, transitioned to massive multiplayer online RPGs, and then came back to tabletop gaming. And my experience with online RPGs, the multiplayer RPGs, was pretty much without fail. All right, my first character that lasted in EverQuest was a paladin, but when it came, and EverQuest was all about filling those holes and having everything that you needed in the party. But I found that soloing a shaman was better. Or in EverQuest 2, I had a druid, and I had a summoner, I guess, a pet class. And I could solo okay with those. I always wanted a class in those games that didn't require a group to play. I know that sounds strange because it's multiplayer and it's building off of RPGs. But there might be times where you just want to get a little game on and you're not looking to be part of a group. Maybe you got 45 minutes of spare time. You want to get a little expo in. Classes that could solo were useful. And they also filled useful spots in a group. Drew does a pretty good healer in the game. When I played Anarchy Online, my main character, what the hell was he? He, oh god, I can't remember his class now, but he had a lot of healing ability and combat ability. Again, kind of covering both. Wasn't much of a tank. But this whole thing of tank, DPS, healer, controller, I never heard these terms until multiplayer online RPGs. Didn't they weren't part of the vernacular. And now I'm hearing it in RPGs. So people are taking that and they're taking their expectations from online RPGs and putting it into their tabletop. And you're right. They want something happening every round. Why don't I have an attack I can use every round? A fighter can attack every round. Well, you know what? The magic is it can too. Get in the fucking melee combat, take out your fucking dagger, or if you throw your dagger, your iron spike, or whatever. And be as you will. You know? I don't understand. It frustrates me. Because expectations are one thing, I understand that. But the gameplay expects, doesn't expect you to have to shine every time. But you should have an opportunity to shine within every session. That's my thought on it. All right. Now, we'll move on. Another two-parter. Alfred, let's hear from you.
Arfed here. I just wanted to call in, reference your last podcast about the character balance. I used to play World of Warcraft computer game, and there was a lot of people that wanted to play the DPS classes. People didn't want to be tanks and healers. I always ended up being a healer because without the healer we couldn't play the game really. So I always settle for that sort of role. When it comes to role playing, I think it's more a group decision who plays what, and a balanced party, and you're all there to have fun and get through the adventure and succeed as a team. I see it. So I'm not sure it matters if they're not balanced exactly. One does more damage or one got more skills. So I'm not quite sure if there is really character balance in a normal game. Anyway, that's my opinion. Thanks, bye. Arfed again. I didn't quite finish what I was trying to get across, I think. So to sum it up, you should play what character you want to play. You might want to take it in turns when you're starting new campaigns or new GMs, so that you're not always playing the healer type or the wizard type. But it is down to the personal player. I think you should just play what you want to play. If you want to try a new class that's maybe meant to be underpowered, it's the role-playing experience that's the main thing. So it doesn't matter if you do less damage or whatever. I always would like to do the role-playing part, and that's the challenge, and that's why I like to choose different characters. Anyway, keep up the good work. Thanks, bye.
Well, I think that you hit the nail on the head. The role play is where it's at. And let's be honest, okay? When you're playing an online RPG, the role playing is more of the ROLL in the background, the dice mechanics or whatever. It's less of playing a role. When you're sitting at a table, virtual or otherwise, playing with fellow players, especially if you fall into the theater of the mind aspect, so it's less a war game simulation moving around your miniatures and more of an image, your imagination taking care and filling in the gaps. That to me is where it's at. So I think what you would need to do is leave behind the expectations that you have of what role playing is from MMOs and return to the expectation of what role playing is at the actual tabletop. My humble opinion. But yes, play what you want. That being said, for me, most often that winds up being a cleric, especially in the OSR games. I find clerics to be very versatile. They can get their swings in and they can get some spells off and turn undead. They're valuable. I don't know why it is that when I was younger, nobody ever wanted to play a fucking cleric, including myself. As I got older, I see their value. So, look at that. Full episode. All right, folks. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. If you get a chance, feel free to give us a review or two on iTunes. We have some anonymous low ratings that have snuck in, but they're not actual reviews. I'd like to get a review or two. In any case, God bless. Roll your dice well. Stay safe. It's a miserable, rainy fucking day here in New York. So I'll still go down to the pub for lunch. Thank you very much, folks. I will talk with you all tomorrow.